This week on the Spotlight, the Bulls are happening, and Mr. Jimmy, he's thinking about how to be better and better. Dwayne Wade is always trying to improve and get this team together and educate them. And then we flash back, going back to the old days of when there was more fighting in the NHL. And then we go to the Bulls, Michael Jordan making a free throw against the hated Pistons this week. Check out my website, benkowski.com, for my weekly article and up-to-the-minute trivia sites. From wherever Chicago's sports teams are making news, it's the Perfect Pitch Auto Repair Sports Spotlight. Flowers for every imaginable occasion at Lansing Floral Shop. Call them at 708-474-1212. They deliver. You've got to get to Irish Legend. They have great food, great drink, the outdoor patio, great staff, open at 11 a.m. daily. Easy to reach. Just go down Archer, 8933 in Willow Springs. Great place, Irish Legend. You've got to get to the Sock. Live Benkowski Trivia, alternate Thursdays, 8 p.m., 93rd and Roberts Road. With a 30-year Southwest Side tradition, Huck Finn is open 24 hours to serve you with great breakfasts like the Becky Thatcher, soups, great lunches, 1/3 pound burgers, clubs, and much more. Dinners from seafood to steaks to pasta, great donuts, and ice creams. With 3 locations at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Stop in today. You know Huck Finn is open. You've got to get to Dr. Sherman Clay, chiropractor. Gentle adjusting. Most insurance accepted. Massage therapy, too. Walk-ins are welcome. Call 773-324-4325. That's HEAL. Dr. Sherman Clay. You've got to get to Snapper's Seafood and Chicken like I do at 115th and Western. Amongst their fine menu items, tilapia, perch, catfish, shrimp, conch from the Miami Connection, crab, but Philly steak and grilled food. It's great. Get the Snappers. You've got to get to Shelton Fireworks, the world's largest warehouse, off Interstate 94, exit 22B in Porter, Indiana. Row after row of the best fireworks anywhere, from the little ones to the grand finales that'll end your show. Birthdays, anniversaries, graduations, in addition to the 4th of July. Just get over there to Shelton Fireworks now. Then you can reload by the time summer comes. Shelton Fireworks, I-94, exit 22B in Portage. So the Bulls busted out in a big way from their 3-game losing streak with a complete destruction of the Magic. And in so doing, they seem to really boost their team confidence and pretty much show what they're capable of doing. The question is sustaining it and doing it on a consistent basis. We got a chance to talk to Jimmy Butler about this, and he very thoughtful and deliberate in his approach and discussion of it. So here's some Jimmy Butler talking about the Bulls straightening things out and playing some good offense and defense in the same game.
We can score the ball decently well, but whenever we're guarding, we make the game easier for ourselves.
You guys look more active tonight than you were in the last couple of games. Do you feel it?
It looks that way as well whenever you're winning by a large amount. It's always fun to win, so I think that definitely plays a part. But we want to continue playing basketball like that. I think, the ball is moving, and then we started guarding. We didn't guard a soul in the first 4-6 minutes, something like that. But after that, we started to do our job.
Jimmy, you've been in this game long enough now. Does it ever amaze you one game to the next? Last game, not very good. Tonight, really good after the first few minutes.
It never amazes me because this is the NBA. At any given night, a team could be making any and every shot, and then on one night, you're playing defense the right way and get stops. I mean, like we say in this league, good offense is going to be good defense every time, but I think as long as we're doing what we're supposed to do majority of the nights, we'll be fine.
Would this be the kind of game that if you could bottle it up and play it almost every time, would this be the kind of game you'd like?
Yeah, definitely. I think we came out, we protected our home floor. That's all we talked about. You don't want to lose in the United Center. We can't allow that. But we came out and we played hard after those first 6 minutes.
Jimmy, after the other day, after the Indiana game, you challenged yourself the way you played and how you had to come out. What did you try to do into this game?
Just be aggressive, attacking the rim, get to the free throw line, do it early and often. And my teammates, especially D. Wade and Rondo, stayed on me about that, being the force that I am from start to finish.
So, Jimmy, I'm not going to jinx you, but you went 10 for 10 at the line tonight. You're 43 of your last 45 from the foul line. Do you take, as far as pregame activity, how many free throws do you take prior to a game, or did you work on that in the offseason? Because you were a good free throw shooter to begin with. But, I mean, can you talk about that aspect of your game?
I actually didn't shoot any free throws before the game today. Don't ask me why, but I decided to run 2 miles before the game. Terrible idea, by the way. Don't do that. But I don't know.
Why did you?
I was doing too much thinking. So I was just like, yo, let's just go run. Let's just listen to some country music and go run. So it worked.
What was the wake-up call at that timeout? When, you got that, you guys started fast offensively, but you're down 20-16 and you made the substitution.
We've seen it the past 3 games. Us not playing defense and what happens whenever we don't do that. And I think everybody's just like, look, we don't want to keep this streak going, start getting some stops. We're scoring the ball just fine. Let's get some stops, and then we did that and pulled away.
What motivated you, your starting group, which you had pointed out had trouble coming out sometimes?
Just the will to win. We know we have to guard if we want to win games, if we want to win in the playoffs. But I think right now we got to take it every day at a time. So every day we got to guard. Tomorrow in practice, we got to guard each other.
How much of this is a lot of new people, and how much of it is just good communication and effort?
I don't think it really matters if it's a lot of new people or not. I don't think anybody cares. We're just supposed to win games. We've been around each other long enough. It's coming slowly but surely, so just got to keep moving in the right direction.
Were you surprised, Jimmy, after all the talking about it, the last couple of games, you guys came out defensively flat when you sort of talked about, hey, we've really got to get into them at the start?
Yeah, we picked it up in that timeout, in that huddle. We knew what we were doing, what we were supposed to do as well, and it's better late than never. Now we just want to do it from the jump.
Was something said or, anything particular?
I mean, in this league, there's not too much to say. I think everything is obvious for the most part. You know if somebody scored 20 points in like 5 and something minutes and some seconds, it's not a good thing. So, you don't got to say too much. You go out there and do your job.
But on the other hand, in the second half, I think you held them to 20 points in the first 10 minutes. It was an intensive job of keeping them down for more than a quarter and a half.
I think that's the goal we want to set. When you got a team down, you don't want to let them get back into it. You want to keep them down. You want to end the game early, and that's what we try to do. That's what we accomplished tonight. We got another one coming up on Wednesday, so we got to prepare for that one.
Jimmy, is the offensive success as simple as sharing the ball? Like, is that really it? When you do it well, you guys play well, and when you don't, you don't.
It's a lot of sharing the ball, being in the right place, knowing the plays. Sip messed up on 16 plays tonight, and I was counting each and every one of them. He needs to get in his playbook, Isaiah Cannon. But I just think whenever you're out there and you're wanting to do right, you always end up in the right.
You've got to get to Lansing Floral Shop. Open at 8 a.m. daily. Besides a great array of live flowers, they have custom silks, Bridgewater candles. They want you to plan your parties early at a wide delivery area. They're located at 3420 Ridge Road in Lansing, or you can call 708-474-1212. Weddings, funerals, birthdays, anniversaries, and guys, try the No Reason flower. Believe me, it works. Lansing Floral Shop. Give them a call, 708-474-1212. Kim G. Sherman, psychotherapist, Des Plaines Wellness Center. Therapy for individuals, couples, families. Call 847-962-4849. I've known Kim for over 20 years. She is a true professional, and she will help you. Give her a call. Family Dentist, Lawrence Furlan, DDS, 109th and Kedzie, crowns, veneers, cleanings, improving your smile. They do a great job. Call 773-233-7044. Excellent work, impeccable. Call the Family Dentist, 773-233-7044. They did a great job for me, and they'll do a great job for you. You've got to get to Shelton Fireworks, the world's largest warehouse off Interstate 94, exit 22B in Porter, Indiana. Row after row of the best fireworks anywhere, from the little ones to the grand finales that'll end your show. Birthdays, anniversaries, graduations, in addition to the 4th of July. Just get over there to Shelton Fireworks now. Then you can reload by the time summer comes. Shelton Fireworks, I-94, exit 22B in Portage. We're back on the spotlight and we're talking Bulls and Dwayne Wade. Dwayne Wade the Bull. Sometimes it's still kind of like you can't believe it because there were too many times he punished and caused pain to the Bulls. But no longer. He's an ally. And some of this conversation is about returning to Miami. But we'll get to that. That may or may not be in this exact piece. He has some interesting perspectives on a lot of things, too. And I think in this section, we may get into my trip through Robbins recently, his hometown, and see if we get a smile out of him. He seemed very, very intense and studious long after the game. But we'll try to get a smile out of him, talking about a landmark and some Chicago classic food.
I think we can feel it when we know we're gonna play well, and I think for us it's good that we actually got a day tomorrow to come in. Coach is excited that we get a day to practice tomorrow because we need those days. And it ain't about going hard; it's about coming in and continue to keep learning together. And I think we'll be better off on this road trip because of having a day, tomorrow to get our mind wrapped around what we need to do.
Well, how important was it to have the defense do what it did in the second half?
Very. We don't win. We're not going to win too many ball games if our defense is not doing what it did. And the thing that players have to understand in this league and what we all have to understand is that it's hard to win. It's unless you just got one of those teams that's just so talented where you can spar with somebody, you can score more points than them. You got to play hard. You got to play hard on the defensive end of the floor to win. It's hard to get stops, and sometimes the effort. You don't want to exert so much energy and so much effort to get one stop. But I think we had to see tonight, after being desperate, after getting down early, and say we got to do it. If we don't, we'll find ourselves in a hole on a 4-game losing streak that you don't want to be on going onto a road trip. So we got to play a little bit more desperate. And understanding who we are, and we're not the team that can spar. We're the team that got to come out, and we got to be aggressive from the start.
What did Cannon bring in that first substitution, and then Portis later on?
Yeah, just energy, man. Energy. Cannon and Portis is now. I'm glad he's got his opportunity now to be in there and mix it up. Doug, those guys have been big for us. And when we go to our next unit, when we go to our third unit, et cetera, it's great to have guys that can come in, they're gonna get the job done. But they just brought their energy, they brought their effort, and for another game, we was able to get back, to take the lead up even more with that unit.
Those guys were picking up a little bit more, picking up higher, applying more pressure up court. Is that the kind of thing you just got to do more of, extend the defense?
That's definitely how we got to play. And like I said, we've been playing that way for the most part. We didn't do it in Indiana. Everyone was in a little funk or whatever the case may be from that first back-to-back. But we've been doing it for the most part, and we got to understand that that's what we're going to have to do. Just to keep ourselves engaged, early is just picking up and not laying back. No matter if no matter what, no matter if you're guarding somebody who's the number one scorer on the team or someone who isn't, you always got to be engaged into the defense and try to be as aggressive as possible, but also being smart and understanding the game plan.
Is that increased? You mentioned the defensive intensity increase in the first quarter. Same deal in the third quarter where they come out and cut to 5, and then you guys basically shut them down for the rest of the period. You just kind of turned up your defense.
Yeah. Well, one thing you understand: the team's gonna score. This is a game full of runs. It's just about cutting that run short. They came out and they started running. We was able to stop it, get to the free throw line, get some buckets, etc. And then we took it from there. So that's what you got to do. You got to be able to stop the bleed in this league, and it's about who make the most runs. And when you're at home, you got to find a way to take care of that. And I think so far we're 3-1 at home this year. We've done it for the most part, and that's what you want to do. Whenever you're here, you want to use your crowd, you want to use your the energy in this building to get you over those humps.
On a lighter note, I was driving in Robbins today. I thought of you, and I was at 135th and Pulaski, where the Maxwell Polish is. Mm-hmm. They really revamped their menu, and I'm thinking maybe something you ought to check out. Right. Did you live very close to that?
I did. I live 140th, so I live very close for sure. Yeah.
You don't mind if I wasn't thinking about you today. It's
What?
okay with you?
No, that's okay. That's good. I mean, I expect my wife to be, and not nobody else. So.
It's not the next game, but this is your last home game before that. And we had to ask Derek about how he thinks he would be received. The number. How do you think you'll be received when you go back to Miami?
I mean, I don't. You never know. I don't say you never know how you'll be received, but I did everything possibly right, in my time there. So hopefully I'm received if what I've given to that franchise and organization as everything. So, but at the same time, you never know. You might hear boo or something at some point. Everybody don't like you. You got to understand that. But I think overall it'll be positive.
With a 30-year Southwest Side tradition, Huck Finn is open 24 hours to serve you with great breakfasts like the Becky Thatcher, soups, great lunches, 1/3 pound burgers, clubs, and much more. Dinners from seafood to steaks to pasta, great donuts, and ice creams. With 3 locations at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Stop in today. You know Huck Finn is open. Go play at Red Shoes Billiards, 12009 South Pulaski in Alsip, featuring 16 Brunswick Gold Crown pool tables, drop fluorescent lighting fixtures, and a fabulous grade of cloth. Call 708-388-3700. And now video gaming is available at Red Shoes from open till close. And don't forget, the Illinois Lottery, too. That's Red Shoe Billiards, 12009 South Pulaski. You've got to get to the Sock Live Midkowski Trivia, alternate Thursdays at 8 p.m. 93rd and Roberts Road. Great game, great people. Check out the Sock. I think you'll be glad you did when you go to my trivia game every other Thursday. 8 p.m., 93rd and Roberts Road. Perfect Pitch Auto Repair at 108th and Kedzie does tune-ups, transmission, AC service, engine repair, tire repair, oil changes, and emission system repair. They're open Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and they've done a great job for me. Perfect Pitch Auto Repair at 108th and Kedzie. You've got to get to Papa Joe's new location, 5900 West 111th Street. Italian beef, tetrazzini, great pizza, Parmesan, ravioli, and more. All my classic choices. New location, and they can still deliver into the city. Get to Papa Joe's. We're back on the spotlight at Bohica, our wonderful sports bar on the beautiful southwest side of Chicago near Midway Airport on Archer Avenue, where sports trivia is played every other Tuesday night. And a great crowd is here. We'll be bringing them into future shots. But now it's time to talk about, speaking of shots, some great shots to the head and the body. And although this isn't kickboxing, it's NHL fighting at its best. Some of our favorite fights of the last couple years. Although they never got up to 400 penalty minutes per season, the 2 most prominent Blackhawk fighters of the 80s, in my assessment, particularly from a success point of view, were Al Secord and Dave Manson, both prominent in their own right. In fact, I don't recall Secord losing. Now that leads us to a man who did achieve over 400 penalty minutes, that man, Mike Peluso. Under normal conditions, Peluso would have been in the thick of this, but for some reason he backs off, while Cam Russell, who now is the current #1 fighter on the Blackhawks in terms of minutes, goes head-to-head with a certain member of the New Jersey Devils. And even though Cam, for the most part, is not victorious, despite the great enjoyment of those stadium fans, I would have to say that Russell is clearly the most willing Chicago Blackhawk to mix it up at any given moment, even though his results somewhat resemble the legendary Keith Magnuson, who fought all comers, if not beat all comers. Certainly in the staring contest aspect of this, coming up, Cam is a clear winner. As far as the enemy goes, no matter what uniform he's in, Basil McRae is a key antagonist of the Blackhawks and an enemy of Blackhawk fans. Here is a St. Louis Blue. He classically trades them with Steve Smith of the Hawks. And of course, McRae was an enemy as a Minnesota North Star, and even as a member a short while as a Tampa Bay Lightning when he was involved in a fight with Stu Grimson, which resulted in McRae and a broken leg. But in this particular one, Steve Smith
put the stick down in time and was just about to take command here, but couldn't quite get the jersey away. Another classic bout for these guys. Now here's one against the hated Red Wings that takes the cake as the longest total bout of the year. Jocelyn Lemieux mixing it up in the corner, trying to get the puck. And of course he's attacked by the Red Wings' Bob Helkaitis. Now while that thing gets situated, you'll see Cam Russell and the Red Wings' Darren McCarty start mixing it up. Now here's an interesting subplot to these double bouts. Give Troy Murray a tremendous amount of credit for keeping the legendary fighter Bob Probert at bay right there as he tries to get involved in either or both of these messes. Bob Probert, of course, the longtime tough guy of the NHL, arguably still the NHL's toughest, and never saw him lose a fight either. But Troy Murray manages to keep him at bay while the rest of the situation goes on. Now, meanwhile, McCarty, even though it looked like he was pounding on Cam Russell, got a blast to the face and was bloodied, and he will try to wreak some revenge here with his jersey off in a classic John L. Sullivan kind of pose. Now check carefully the right eye of McCarty, because that's the one where the big shot was given. And you got to give Cam Russell credit for him staying with this bout, because it looked like he was down about 3 separate times, but he kept coming back. Now keep in mind, this is the regular NHL officials too. And I was amazed they let this thing go as long as they did. I would call it borderline irresponsible. See that little try to jam Cam's head into the ice? Also, McCarty getting his blood all over Russell's jersey, but it's McCarty's blood. You can verify that if you checked out that right eye. Anyway, this was classic action from this year at Chicago Stadium, and the fans certainly loved it, and we hope you did too. Now on a personal note, back in 1989, actor Jim Belushi cut my tie off with a switchblade, and 4 years later I was about to get my revenge with the scissors here in the Blackhawk locker room. Now, would this escalate into a full-scale brawl? Time will tell. But Belushi, the unofficial mascot of the Blackhawks from the Hollywood point of view, here chatting with Jeremy Roenick, doesn't see me. I'm ready to get revenge, but unfortunately, he doesn't have a tie on. So what will I trim off the former Saturday Night Live star? Something to think about. Now, I gotta tell you, the difference between us is I'm goofing around every time we have these blade confrontations on camera, and I don't know if it's from being in Hollywood and not being accustomed to live television, but Jim always looks a little bit too serious when he starts doing this stuff. Maybe it's because he hangs around with Steve McMichael, who, of course, has been known to do this sort of thing on TV. But anyway, I don't trust them with a sharp object. More flashbacks after this. You've got to get to Jack's, 3325 Ridge Road in Lansing. Trivia every Tuesday at 7 p.m. A very intense competitive game. Any of half a dozen teams can win. My game show at Oliver's gets better and better at 6100 West 159th Street in Oak Forest. Live trivia alternate Thursdays at 7 p.m. Have great food, great drink, and great trivia at Oliver's. Perfect Pitch Auto Repair at 108th and Kedzie is great. Tune-ups, transmissions, AC service, engine repair, tire repair, oil changes. They're open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. They do a great job for me, and they'll do a great job for you. They're quick, and they don't charge an arm and a leg. Perfect Pitch Auto Repair, 108th and Kedzie. Trivia will be at the Sock. Alternate Thursdays at 8 p.m. 93rd and Roberts Road. Great food, great drink, great people. Everything great. You've got to get to Del Sur Mexican Restaurant, open for lunch and dinner daily. Shrimp, tilapia, salmon, steak, chicken dishes, you name it. It's all there at 46th and Halsted. Great stuff at Del Sur Mexican Restaurant. Reggie's is a great place with tons of music, interesting people and staff, great food and drink at 21st and State. And amongst the cool things they have, Benkowski Trivia. All shows are now Monday at 6 p.m. Reggie's, 21st and State, a fun place. Back to 91 in the Eastern Conference Finals. Banking it in, the Bulls up 8 at halftime. But in the second half, the Bulls took over. Scottie Pippen all the way down. No headache there. Then he goes back to play defense. And speaking of defense, watch Michael with the rejection of Isaiah. The Bulls come back. Scotty leads it. Michael finishes it. Up by 15. Horace Grant then, still battling with Aguirre. Gets inside for the slam. The Bulls are up 14 at the time, but the Pistons chipped away again. Watch Vinnie Johnson. The microwave regains. Fourth quarter. Pistons cut it to 7. And then False Face gets in the act. They'll kick it out to him, and his jumper cuts the lead to 96-91. But B.J. Armstrong, very tough after a not-so-great first half. B.J. up by 7 Bulls, and Michael hit about 9,000 free throws down the stretch, and the Bulls take it. The Bulls have taken the commanding 3-0 lead, and you can see the demoralization on the faces of the Detroit Pistons. As a matter of fact, their fans were so disgusted, they were shouting things like, "Michael's a baby," "Phil Jackson, quit crying." A very desperate bunch here at the Auburn Hills Palace, and I would safe to say the end of this series is imminent.
Well, basically, as I saw the game, it was basically an 8-point game all day. They had the 8-point margin at the quarter and pretty much retained it throughout the game. We would close and just couldn't get over on the hump and get the lead. They did what they had to do. They got the one win here, and it puts us, we've talked about liking to be up against the wall, but we are certainly there now. And we've won 2 championships on the road, and I hate to see it die here in our own building, but we're going to have to play a hell of a lot better if we're going to beat this club. They're playing great basketball, and they have the finisher. Anytime they need a big shot, they go to Jordan, and he completes the play.
And so does Scottie Pippen. And I asked Scottie if he felt the Pistons were frustrated by the Bulls' quickness on offense.
Well, I see the Pistons frustrated because they haven't been able to win a game. I don't think our quickness is really dominating the game. I think we're playing a lot smarter, a lot harder than we were the last time that we played this team.
Scottie, you have taken Rodman, Lambert, Edwards out of this series. Was that your intention was going there?
Well, basically, those are guys that really roam around and get scrap points. And, the main thing we try to keep Lambert from doing is stepping out and getting that open jump shot. And we've been able to do that. And that's sort of shut down a lot of their offense. And,
Vinnie Johnson's had a great series against us, as Aguirre's been a real threat. And that's really helped them.
Do you regard this victory, particularly in this building and the manner in which you won, as sort of a landmark?
Well, I think it showed something about this basketball team, that they're confident and they're poised. And last year we came in on a 7th game and didn't get the job done. And I think these guys remembered the kind of tension and the pressure the building presented and the Detroit Pistons and their fans presented. And they gave us a great surge at the end of the first quarter, but we were able to withstand it and come away with an 8-point lead.
You've been watching the Perfect Pitch Auto Repair Sports Spotlight. Perfect Pitch located at 108th and Kedzie. Take your vehicles there for great repairs. This week's show has been brought to you by the Lansing Floral Shop. Call for your flowers at 708-474-1212. Huck Finn, a great wide-ranging menu, along with donuts and ice cream. Open 24 hours at Archer and Damon, 67th and Pulaski, and 105th and Cicero. Imprint Graphics, leaders in booklet, perfect bound saddle stitch. Very competitive pricing, 708-396-1010.